Hello, this is Professor Jones, and I'm going to be going over the course navigation for Art 350 for the summer session. Because it's the summer session, I'm kind of condensing as much information that I can in a normal semester, so that's usually about 16 weeks, down to only 6 weeks. So I've still taken information out that you would have received if you had taken this class during a normal semester, but there's still a lot of work packed into the next 6 weeks. So I need for you to pay close attention to the course navigation and the best way to move through each module for this course. First, I want to mention that the inbox over here in your main menu on Canvas is going to be the best way to communicate with me. So if you click on the inbox and then you click on Compose a New Message, you would go to our course, Art 350, and you would type in my name, Diane Jones. It's going to come up, and then you can send me an email via Canvas. That's the best way to communicate with me. It really helps. I have a lot of classes this summer with a ton of students. So if you communicate through Canvas, it tells me what class you're in, and it makes my life much easier. If you just send me an email, I don't know what class you're in. I've got like over 300 students. So the more you can focus on communicating with me via the inbox, the quicker I'll be able to get back to you with whatever your question is. So this is the home page, and the home page is going to change for every module. So it's one way for you to be reminded of the new information that we're studying, and also just kind of keeps like a bookmark almost every time we navigate from one module to the next. In your menu here, like I said, this is the home page. We've got modules, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. And all the modules are already open and laid out, so you can jump forward and kind of see, what are we doing for composition and design? I'm excited about that, with all of the due dates as well. There's a few announcements that are helpful. One of them talks about embedding images into your post, which is also part of the course, which I'll talk about in a sec. But here's a great way for you to reference it with the announcements. And every once in a while through the semester, I might add an announcement or two. Of course, you've got all the assignments, the discussion post. This is where you're going to want to check your grades. So it's your responsibility to look at your grades to find out how you're doing in the class. So you would just click on that. It's going to have just your name, and that's going to enable you to see whatever your grades are. And keep me posted with any questions. The syllabus is available for you, so you can go through and review what the course is about. There's not a textbook for this course. All the reading is available online for free. My communication policy, makeup, kind of a simple representation of what the instruction and how I will be evaluating what you're learning. And then also just a breakdown of the student learning outcomes for the summer course. And then there's a summary as well, which also indicates what's due when. So lots of cool information here in the syllabus. There are a few quizzes. I'm not sure we'll be using the collaboration. Anytime online, I will keep the chat available, so you can always find me there if you want to talk. So those are the main areas that I'm going to encourage you to pay attention to. Really, watching your grade is a key one, and I'll mention that. I'll send you emails via Canvas regularly to remind you of things that are coming up that are due, and also to remind you to check your grades if you're missing any assignments. So we'll start off with the introduction. Basically, the way the modules are laid out, you just click on the module on the home page, and you can just click on the next button. This is the course navigation. This is, like I was saying before, how to participate in the discussion posts, how to post to the discussion board. So this is a video where I go into those details. Here's the vocabulary for, the grading rubric for any of the written vocabulary homework assignments, and then a little discussion on just how to be respectful and kind to your classmates and myself. This is reminding you again, I really want you to be able to embed your images. It's a big part of this class. And so by attaching your images, it means that we have to open up the attachment. And I'll accept work that way, but I really want to enforce and encourage you guys to learn how to embed your images. Since this is going to be a class where we're looking at a lot of images, it will be much easier for myself and your classmates to enjoy the discussion posts and being able to give each other feedback if you embed your images. So you're going to want to watch this video, and here's a bunch of other links that might be helpful. You can keep me posted if you have any issues or problems embedding your images. I created a little classroom cafe discussion board if you want to talk to your classmates sort of like outside of the course structure. I mean, it's still part of the course and it's available. It's not an area that I'll be really supervising or looking at, so it's just a way for you to communicate with each other if you feel like it. So this moves into the first learning unit, and if you'll notice, let me just show you how the modules are set up. The first module is a little different, so we're just going to jump to the second module. So you'll see how each module, there's an instructor's introduction. This is usually a short video where I talk about what we're going to be doing in that module. So you're going to want to always listen to that and review that first. After you've listened to the instructor's introduction, then you can start to go through the learning content and then finally the homework assignments. And you'll notice, like I said, all the modules are open and every module follows this same structure. I think it's really important in this online environment to keep things really simple. So as we are jumping around and I'm showing you the module for the history of photography, there's 3 different parts. And so there's not an instructor's introduction for each part because they're all contained and connected together as one learning unit. So I talk about that in the instructor's introduction video. So that happens for the history of photography. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. And the same for the composition and design. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. So you'll want to watch the instructor's introduction video. Once you've watched that, then you're going to want to look ahead because these learning units go by really quickly. And there's actually something due on a fairly like every couple of day basis. So for example, with the composition and design, there's something due on Sunday, then there's something due on Tuesday, and then there's something due on Thursday. So you need to be following and watching, especially when you notice that there are these learning units that have a series of parts to them. And then we go back to having one module. Most modules are due on a Thursday, and then the next one would be due on a Sunday. So there's usually 2 modules due per week. And then of course you can always jump way ahead and check out what the final learning unit, which is the final project, is about. And again, I have no problem with you jumping ahead. Don't get too far ahead of yourself and your classmates, but definitely feel free to go through the, looks like there's a total of 13 modules, so you know what the class is about. Let's go back to the home page. And these are also just different ways of getting around seeing. The third module is about photography genres, and so here's my introduction. And then of course you can kind of go through and get a sense of what that module is about. And also on the home page it indicates when things are due. So you can see how in June we've got something due on the 18th and then on the 21st and so on and so forth. So like I said, most of the time we have something due on a Thursday and a Sunday, but for the history of photography and the composition and design, there's actually more homework due in 1 week than for the other weeks throughout the course. This is a very intensive class because like I said, I've had to condense 16 weeks down to 10. So you really have a lot of work to do. Hopefully you find the projects fun and inspiring so it's not like painful coursework. So let me just quickly go back through the first learning unit, which is an introduction to this course, just so you can get a sense. I've already looked at this information, the discussion board for you guys to meet each other. So basically, you're going to need to always read whatever the content is on the page. That information will be helpful if there's a weekly quiz. Oftentimes there's videos that you're going to want to watch, and I always try to tell you how long it is just so you know. Most of the videos are between 2 and 15 minutes. There's just a few videos in the history learning unit that are almost an hour. Your first project is going to be considering visual literacy, so you'll watch this video and learn a little bit more about Martin Scorsese. And then, of course, we have the introduction. So you're going to kind of introduce yourself to myself and your classmates. And then the first homework is a reflective essay responding to these prompts. This is a video where I go into the details, and this is the video that you'll watch before responding to the prompts. So that kind of indicates how you navigate through a module. And then visual analysis is the second module that the homework would be due on Sunday, June 21st. So that gives you an overview of how you should be navigating this course. Viewing the calendar might be helpful. I know some students like to see that. Different ways of seeing what assignments are coming up, what's due when. So you can always see as well, okay, this is what's due on Thursday, this is what's due on Sunday. Maybe you want to print this out so you have it available to you so you don't get behind. But I've tried to give you as many resources as possible to make navigating the course fairly simple, and then also acknowledging that it's summer, it's a fast-paced course, but I still have to try and get as much information as I can into what's required so you meet the transfer credits. All right, well, keep me posted with any questions. I look forward to meeting all of you in this virtual online classroom. Thank you.